And news tonight. 13 female farmers abducted by terrorists in Borno. Kwara government confirms rescue of 38 Eruku churchgoers. Atiku Abubakar to pick up ADC membership card. And away from Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau tight election, Embalo 6 historic second term. Hello and welcome to the news on Trust TV. I am Maria Medres. The Deputy Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, Abdullahi Askira, has confirmed the abduction of 13 female farmers in the Askira Uba local government area of the state. According to Askira, the women were attacked and seized by suspected Boko Haram ISWAP militants while working on their farmlands earlier in the day. He described the incident as deeply worrying, noting that despite ongoing military operations, farming communities in the southern part of the state remain highly vulnerable to insurgent raids. The lawmaker said security agencies have been promptly notified and a coordinated search and rescue effort is already underway to track the attackers and ensure the safe return of the victims. Askira also urged the military, local vigilantes and other security stakeholders to intensify surveillance around farmlands, which he said have increasingly become soft targets for insurgent groups. Residents of nearby communities says the incident has heightened fear and anxiety, especially among women who often work in groups on farmlands located far from town centers. Locals noted that farmers in the area have repeatedly faced attacks, kidnappings and theft of produce, making agricultural activities more dangerous despite being their main source of livelihood. The fresh abduction adds to growing concern over renewed insurgent activities in southern Borno, where authorities have continued to push for the safe return of displaced persons. So joining us via phone call is Hamisu Kabir Matazo to give us more updates on the security situation. Welcome to News Hour, Hamisu.
Good evening.
Good evening, Hamisu. Thank you for joining us. So can you confirm the current status of the abducted female farmers from Askira Uba, Borno State? Have there been any updates on their location or any rescue efforts?
Based on what the security agencies are saying, that they are making frantic effort to ensure that they rescue the abducted teenagers, because there were 13 of them, ages ranging between 15 to 20 years. And they were abducted in their farmlands, and the security agency said they are on top of the situation. They are trying to rescue them from the abductors.
Okay.
So I think, yeah.
What specific efforts are the military and security agencies making to rescue the 13 abducted women, and what is the timeline?
Well, nobody can tell the time limit for now, and what I can say, security operation is sometimes it's not open. They are doing it based on in confidence, I can say. But all I can say is that maybe a week after the attacks that happened, which led to the killing of 2 commanding officers, I think the chiefs of our army and air staff were in Maiduguri, and they engaged the troops, and the troops assured them commitment for a coordinated operation, while the top military brass also assured them that they will improve their welfare. And based on that, I think the troops on ground expressed commitment and saying that they are on high morale to fight the war, which I believe has translated into a result. Because if you are following the event today, you will see how they were able to repel the Boko Haram attack at Magumeri, where the insurgents started burning down houses, vehicles, and some part of the civilian JTF formation. The military successfully repelled them. And at the same time, the insurgents also went and picked the farmers, the teenage farmers on their farmlands. So this is what I can say about this actually.
Okay. Hamisa, how have local farmers and communities responded to the attack? Are they suspending agricultural activities out of fear?
Well, the farmers in Borno, Yobe, and other parts where this insurgency is on, everybody can tell you that they are subjected to so many difficulties by the insurgents and even from the security side, because the insurgents usually impose taxes on them in areas where they control. They usually pay them jizya from land preparation up to the harvest time. Now they are at the harvest time. They already invested their money, now trying to harvest their produce, and the insurgents are not giving them opportunity to do that. Many of them are complaining that they are paying huge amount of money to the insurgents before accessing their farms. So we can say that farmers, especially in the troubled areas, are not having it easy accessing their farms to do that, and they are subjected to fear of being attacked, and evident to it is what happened today when these teenage girls went to harvest their crops and they were taken away by the insurgents.
Okay, now, has there been any communication from the insurgents, that's the Boko Haram and ISWAP, about ransom demands or conditions for the women's release?
Not to my knowledge, actually.
Okay, what measures are being taken to address the vulnerability of farmlands to attacks, and will there be increased security escorts for farmers?
Yes, what the state government was doing at the beginning of the farming season was, one, they provided luxurious buses that are taking the farmers to area where they cultivate, and they get the protection of the civilian JTF hunters and the even military men in those locations where they feel vulnerable to attacks. Notwithstanding, they spend like 6 hours doing the work, and after that hours, they return back. Some are going from Maiduguri to that area, and some are going to some safer locations across the state. So that was what they are doing, and I don't think, I don't know, maybe if they have not gotten such protection that they used to get of going into the farms, because what is happening, the resurgence of attacks that are happening, I think is too demanding for the military maybe to concentrate on taking the farmers to their farms, maybe waiting for them to for 6-7 hours to cultivate before they took them back to the safer locations.
All right. Thank you, Hamisu Matazu, for the update.
Thank you.
Still on security matters, the 38 worshippers abducted by bandits during a Thanksgiving service at Christ Apostolic Church, CAC Okeshogun Eruku in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State have regained their freedom after spending 5 days in captivity. Their release was confirmed on Sunday by Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak in a statement issued through his chief press secretary, Rafiu Ajakai. The governor described the development as a major relief for families, the community and the entire state. According to the statement, the safe return of the abducted congregants followed days of coordinated efforts by security agencies working under the directives of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Governor Abdulrazak praised the president for what he called a hands-on and compassionate intervention that ensured the matter received priority attention at the federal level. While details of the rescue operation remained undisclosed, government authorities confirmed that all 38 victims were recovered alive and are now receiving medical attention, psychological support. Security teams reportedly intensified patrols across adjoining forest and rural communities throughout the week to prevent further incidents. Governor Abdulrazak commended the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Police Force, and local intelligence network for their tireless collaboration that ultimately led to the successful rescue. He also expressed gratitude to traditional rulers, community leaders, and religious institutions for their patience, prayers, and support during the tense period. In reaction to the news, there is a widespread relief and celebration in Eruku community. Residents expressed joy at the safe return of the worshippers, while many called for continued vigilance and stronger security measures to protect vulnerable communities from future attacks. The abduction, which had plunged the community into fear and uncertainty, highlights ongoing security challenges in parts of Kwara State and underscores the need for sustained efforts by both federal and state authorities to safeguard lives and property. Now, 50 of the 303 school children abducted from a Catholic school in Niger State have managed to escape and are now safely reunited with their families, the school authority confirmed on Sunday. The children, aged between 10 and 18, reportedly escaped individually over the course of Friday and Saturday. According to the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigerian CAN in Niger State and proprietor of the school, Most Reverend Bulus Dawa Yohana, the abduction occurred earlier this week at the St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary Schools in Papiri, Agwara local government area. Security agencies are reportedly working closely with the school and community leaders to secure the release of those still held. Reverend Yohana urged parents and the public to remain calm and prayerful while assuring that efforts are ongoing to rescue the remaining students and staff. The theater commander of Joint Task Force Northwest, JTF NW Operation Fansanyama, OPFY, Major General Warra Idris, has directed troops to sustain pressure on bandits responsible for the abduction of students from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri, Agwara local government area, Niger State. According to a statement issued on Saturday by OPFY's Media Information Officer, Captain David Adewusi, Major General Idris visited the scene of the attack on 22nd November 2025 to conduct an on-the-spot assessment and gain first-hand operational insight into the incident. He was received and briefed by the General Officer commanding 2 Division and Commander, Sector 3, OPFY, Major General CR Nebifi, on ongoing coordinated operations with other security agencies aimed at securing the safe release of the abducted students, reaffirming the theater's commitment to bringing the perpetrators to justice. Major General Idris charged the troops to intensify their efforts. He expressed confidence in their capabilities and assured that all necessary resources, support, and operational enablers will be provided to ensure mission success. Now, families on Saturday hurriedly evacuated their children from Federal Government Girls College, FGGC Buari, Abuja, amid rising security concerns. Scenes outside the school were chaotic as parents helped their daughters pack luggage and arranged immediate transport home. Some students, still in their uniforms, carried their belongings, while others assisted classmates who were finishing up. The rush followed the federal government's directive on Friday, ordering the immediate shutdown of 47 federal unity colleges nationwide, including FGGC Buari, due to escalating insecurity. The order was issued in a circular signed by the Director of Senior Secondary School Education, Binta Abdul Qadir. Now, the Defense Headquarters says it is reviewing claims that soldiers were withdrawn from a Kebbi school shortly before bandit attacks and abducted 25 students. The military says any lapses discovered will be immediately addressed. The attack on Government Schools Comprehensive Secondary School, MAGA, has triggered fresh questions about security preparedness in northern communities. Governor Nasser Idris had earlier demanded to know who ordered the alleged withdrawal of troops from the school days before the raid. In a statement, the Defense Headquarters said all its deployment decisions are guided by intelligence, but it is now reviewing what happened in Maga. Major General Michael Onoja condemned the abductions in both Kebbi and Niger states, where dozens of school children remain missing. The Defense Headquarters says troops are fully on ground, following actionable intelligence to secure the safe return of the abducted students. It assures Nigerians that rescue operations remain a top priority. Governor Idris says the incident is even more painful because authorities had received warnings ahead of the attack. The military says the review will help tighten security and prevent a recurrence. Now, the Kebbi State government has ordered the immediate closure of all public and private secondary schools across the state amid rising security threats, marking one of the most extensive education shutdowns in recent years. The directive also affects most state-owned tertiary institutions, with the exception of the College of Nursing Sciences in Birnin Kebbi, which will continue to operate. The announcement was made on Sunday in Birnin Kebbi through a joint statement by the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Halima Bande, and the Commissioner for Higher Education, Isa Abubakar Tunga. Bande said the decision was aimed at safeguarding students and staff following recent attacks in various parts of the state. The shutdown impacts hundreds of institutions, including government day schools, boarding schools and privately owned schools across all 21 local government areas. Many parents had already expressed concern following attacks on communities and the abduction of schoolgirls in Maga. Abubakar Tunga explained that the closures were based on security recommendations. The tertiary institutions affected include Kebbi State Polytechnic, Laikingari, Abdullahi Fodio University of Science and Technology, Aliru, College of Health Sciences and Technology, Jega, Adamu Ogi College of Education, Arugungu, and the School of Remedial Studies, Yauri. Authorities urge school administrators, parents, and the public to remain calm and cooperate with government directives while security agencies intensify operations across the state. Now, joining us via Zoom to discuss on these security issues is security expert Muhammad Ali from Kaduna. Welcome to News Hour, Muhammad.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, what are the main drivers of the recent surge in banditry and kidnappings in Nigeria? What do you think are the main drivers?
Well, the current security situation in Nigeria is characterized by multiple overlapping and escalating crises across nearly all geopolitical zones in the country, posing the greatest threat to national stability ever since the civil war. While the insecurity in the Northeast remains a persistent threat, the primary drivers of violence and instability is the surge in banditry and kidnapping for ransom across Northwest and North Central regions. Nigeria today is currently managing at least 5 distinct theaters: Northwest and North Central, banditry and mass kidnapping. This is currently the most widespread threat, characterized by criminal groups motivated primarily by financial gain, though they have increasing links with terrorist elements like Boko Haram and the Ansaru. Secondly, we have the issue of mass abductions. Mass abduction for ransom, particularly targeting schools, churches, mosques, and villages. This has become an organized, lucrative industry. Recent mass abductions of school children, students, worshippers, and teachers underscore the vulnerability of our rural communities and the severity of the crisis. Then the economic drivers. This violence, as witnessed today, is fueled primarily by competition over resources, farmer-herder clashes, illegal mining for gold and other minerals that are available across states, particularly in the Northwest. Then the proliferation of small arms and light weapons all over the place. This, to a large extent, is adding to the already precarious situation. Added to this is the jihadist convergence. There is a dangerous and growing convergence where jihadi groups like the ISWAP and Ansaru offer training and ideological framing to bandit networks, elevating the complexity and capability of the criminal groups.
All right.
So this is why our security agencies have a lot to do. They have a lot to handle, and we need to give them all the support necessary that we can muster.
All right, talking about the security agencies, why has the Nigerian military struggled to contain this threat despite increased resources?
The Nigerian military are doing the best that they can, but they need to put more effort. And I think there is also a need for the mobile police force to be mobilized with members of the civil defense force, to be mobilized in order to give some backing to members of the Nigerian armed forces, so that together we'll be able to bring to an end this madness that is ravaging almost every community in the country today.
So what immediate steps can communities take to protect themselves from attacks?
Communities should organize local security committees and ensure that, first and foremost, they have to try to identify the informants that are even right within them, because most of these things are happening and the bandits are succeeding because of their being informants. So these informants have to be traced and dealt with sarcastically. Then also we have to trace down to the market square people who offer food services to them, people who go in to collect money from them and in return provide food stuff. These also have to be identified and tracked down. If this is done and thoroughly too, I think to a large extent we will be able to nip in the bud most of this treachery that we are facing today. But most importantly, all network service providers, particularly in areas where these things are becoming so prone, they have to encourage and ensure that their service is always on, because where there is no network, at times it makes fighting insurgency a little difficult.
Thank you very much, Muhammad Ali, for sharing your insight on News Hour.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Moving on, mixed reactions continue to trail the sudden closure of schools across Katsina State over rising insecurity, with many stakeholders warning that the decision could have long-term implications for students' education and Development. Concerned residents described the announcement as shocking and unsettling, urging the federal government to intervene swiftly to ensure children's safety and learning continuity. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi report.
On Friday, the government announced the immediate closure of all public and private schools in the state, citing security concerns. The directive came without prior notice to school authorities, parents, or students, causing confusion and anxiety among families across the state. Stakeholders argued that the abrupt shutdown exacerbates existing challenges faced by students, particularly following the disruption caused by COVID-19, a recurrent insecurity in northern Nigeria. Parents said the decision, while necessary for safety, threatens to derail academic calendars and disrupt planned examinations. While I appreciate the government's decision to close schools for safety, I hope authorities will work hard to overcome insecurity so the closures does not last long or negatively affect our children's education.
No, we feel very bad. We are not happy of this kind of situation that is happening in Nigeria nowadays. And the situation is, is almost all in Nigerians happening. So what the Dukwara did, the governor of Katana State, we appreciate it because it's a security matters.
Some parents also expressed concern about how the closure would affect students' mental and emotional well-being, noting that many children depend on school not only for education, but also for meals and structured learning environments. Public commentator Bashir Usman Rongodia criticized the federal government for failing to address the root causes of insecurity, which he said have deeply affected social and economic life in Katsina State. He added that insecurity, including mass killings, displacement, and rustling of livestock, continues to undermine communities and disrupt essential services like education.
Some of us that even outside of the state for some assignments received the shocking news that schools were abruptly closed on Friday. That may be owing to so many reasons, maybe because of the abductions recently in Kebbi and Niger states. But then one will wonder, having taken this years long with the issue of insecurity, the level of preparedness of the state, the level of commitment of the security agencies, especially the military, the police, and so on and so forth, and then the intelligence report that are being received. One will wonder what the government has been doing to ensure that the kind of reports it has been receiving before now, and especially the signs or warning signs that have been, I believe, been given by the security department or security agencies, especially the DSS. I thought the government should have been proactive in ensuring that very, very serious measures.
However, Commissioner of Basic and Secondary Education Yusuf Suleiman Jibia reassured the public that the closures were made in the best interest of students, teachers, and other stakeholders. He emphasized that the state government would adjust the academic calendar to compensate for lost time and ensure students complete their program without major setbacks.
We are aware of certain incidences that had happened at Kebbi State, Niger State, where a number of students were abducted. And these things, nobody knows where it is going to happen again. So we think we, as a state here, we have to take precautionary measures to guide against such kind of happenings in Katsina State. Even though we have adequate security arrangements at our various secondary schools across the state, but then I think the emerging challenges will have to re-strategize and then reinforce the security arrangement we have in our states, in our secondary schools.
Educational stakeholders urged the government to complement the closure with concrete measures to restore safety in schools, such as deploying more security personnel, improving surveillance, and collaborating with local communities. They highlighted that protecting schools is essential to preventing long-term educational decline, particularly in northern Nigeria, which has historically lagged behind other regions in literacy and school attendance. As the debate continues, education experts insist that school closures should be accompanied by strategic interventions that protect students and restore learning opportunities, ensuring that Nigeria's future generations are not denied their right to education. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Education stakeholders in Bauchi have challenged the Federal Ministry of Education over its recent decision to discontinue the use of mother tongue as a medium of instruction in Nigerian schools. The decision has stirred deep concern across the education and cultural sectors. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports.
According to them, Nigeria has been a signatory to several UNESCO and United Nations conventions advocating mother tongue-based education, especially in early childhood learning. Bala Uthman Suleiman and Dr. Bala Abubakar say these commitments are not merely symbolic, adding that history and overwhelming scientific evidence show that children learn faster and perform better when taught in a language they understand.
So it was a very sad thing to discover that some years back, history was removed from the curriculum of primary and secondary school. Although recently there was really an outcry regarding that. And I sincerely feel and hope that that will be it will be returned to the curriculum of primary and secondary school because of the importance of our history.
One will not definitely deny the fact that China is leading the whole world today in the area of science, technology, and innovation. And they learn everything in their language. So you cannot convince us that now English, which is our colonial language, should replace my mother tongue in the teaching of my children.
Furthermore, residents supported the advocacy and argument for using mother tongue at the basic and secondary school levels, describing the new policy as a step backward for education and cultural identity.
And a high time for, if they want the education to move forward from the grassroots to the higher level, let mother tongue be at the front. Mother tongue will be at the front, whatever.
These borrowing languages that we are using, we find it difficult. There are some terminologies in the language that our children don't used to understand easily. They find it very difficult to understand the actual meaning of the words or the language. But if they are teaching them with mother tongue, I think will be more than the way we are.
They added that unfortunately Nigeria's new directive appears to disregard accumulated knowledge and global best practices. By jettisoning mother tongue instruction, the country risks widening the gap between urban and rural learners. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And armed troops of 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Sector 3 Operation Wild Stroke OPWS have achieved another major operational success under Operation Zafin Wuta, following the arrest of a wanted and notorious kidnap suspect in Wukari local government area of Taraba State. Acting on credible intelligence, troops on 22nd November 2025 apprehended Umar Musa Geyi at the Jande Kulamu in Wukari local government area. The suspect, who has been on the wanted list for security agencies, is believed to be a key member of a kidnapping syndicate that has terrorized several communities in the area. Preliminary investigations indicate that the suspect is linked to the kidnapping of Alhaji Janu, a Fulani resident of the Jande Kulamu general area, who was abducted on 13th November 2025 and remains in captivity. Gay was arrested after troops intercepted him during a phone conversation in which he confirmed the victim was still being held and demanded a ransom of 20 million naira for his release. The suspect is currently in custody, undergoing further interrogation to determine the victim's location and facilitate his safe rescue. While commending the troops for their proactive action, the commander, 6th Brigade, Brigadier General Kingsley Chidebere Uwa, reaffirmed the brigade's commitment to dismantling criminal networks, rescuing victims, and restoring peace and security across Taraba State. He urged members of the public to remain vigilant and continue supporting security agencies with timely and credible information. Now, the Gombe State Police Command has dismissed reports circulating on social media claiming that Ekwa Church in Kashiri, Akko local government area, was attacked by gunmen. In a statement issued by the police public relations officer Buhari Abdullahi, the command described the report as entirely false, insisting that no such incident occurred. The viral message alleged that a local church assembly had been invaded and parishioners kidnapped, but police says the claim is baseless. According to the PPRO, church officials also confirmed that police operatives were stationed at the premises throughout the day as part of routine security deployment. The command condemned the circulation of the false report as irresponsible, warning that such misinformation is capable of causing unnecessary panic among residents. The police urged the public to rely only on verified information and avoid sharing unconfirmed reports, especially those capable of creating fear or tension in the state. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the withdrawal of police officers currently assigned to provide security for very important persons, VIPs, across Nigeria, urging that they may be deployed to focus on the primary duties of protecting the public and maintaining law and order. The directive came during a security meeting on Sunday in Abuja, attended by the police, military chiefs, and the Director General of the Department of State Service, DSS. Present were Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Kelvin Aneke, Inspector General of Police Kayode Betokun, and DSS Director General Tosin Adiola Ajayi. Under the new arrangement, VIPs who require personal protection are advised to seek the services of well-armed personnel from the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, rather than relying on the police. President Tinubu emphasized that the move aims to bolster police presence in communities nationwide, especially in remote areas where stations often lack sufficient personnel to respond effectively to crime. The redeployment is expected to enhance the overall security of ordinary citizens and improve policing efficiency. In addition to the redeployment, the president has approved the recruitment of 30,000 additional police officers and is collaborating with state governments to upgrade police training facilities across the country. Barring any last-minute changes, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will on Monday formally register as a member of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, marking a major move ahead of the 2027 general elections. Sources close to the former VP told Daily Trust that all arrangements have been finalized for Atiku to complete his registration at Jada Ward 1 in Jada local government area of Adamawa State, where he is expected to pick up his ADC membership card. Atiku himself hinted at the political shift during a meeting earlier today with the leadership of the Adamawa State chapter of the ADC in Yola, where he reportedly reaffirmed his commitment to the party ahead of the 2027 polls. His decision comes months after the opposition coalition he co-leads alongside former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi adopted the ADC as its platform for the next presidential election. However, the absence of both Atiku and Obi at the unveiling of the ADC's new national secretariat last week had stirred speculation over their commitment to the coalition's agenda. Political analyst says Atiku's formal registration, if completed tomorrow, will put to rest growing doubt and could reshape the dynamics within the opposition space as parties intensify preparations for 2027. The ADC is expected to release an official statement after the registration ceremony.
This association has a long and proud history. It was established in 2003, and up to this day, it remains active. Thanks to those who founded the movement, those who continue to nurture it and its members, and those who aspire to become members. May God bless you all. And if God give us power, may He never allow us to turn backs on you.
This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Nigeria tops Africa with $18.5 billion World Bank loans. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Now, let's take a recap of our major stories again. 13 female farmers abducted by terrorists in Borno. Kwara government confirms rescue of 38 Eruku churchgoers. Now, moving on to more stories. The House of Representatives had directed the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to ensure that insurance companies pay outstanding premiums to corps members who died or were injured while on election duty within 4 weeks. The directive came from the House Committee on Electoral Matters during an interactive session with the leadership of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC). Here's the report.
For more than a decade, corps members have played a central role in election operations, manning polling units across the country. In the course of their service to the nation, the corps members have faced intimidation, violence, and other risks. Some have even paid the price for showing up through death, disability, and severe injuries. As lawmakers work on a new electoral act ahead of the 2027 polls, attention is shifting to improving the safety and welfare of these ad hoc workers.
Our objective is to dialogue with the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) to develop concrete recommendations that will enhance the welfare and security of corps members on election duty before the next election cycle. This committee is ready to champion any legislative or policy intervention that will guarantee their safety, improve their working conditions, and acknowledge the patriotic service they render to our democracy.
The NYC outlined major challenges faced by corps members to include security threats, poor remuneration, logistics difficulties, unfavorable operational conditions, and lack of essential facilities. It is suggesting that the responsibility for transporting corps members during elections be moved from the INEC to the Office of the National Security Advisor.
NYC is not funded for election. Election is not part of the budget of NYC. If we are relying on INEC to do all these things, we have also looked at it internally that it may not work. We are looking at issue of unbundling participation of NYC into Office of National Security Advisor to be responsible for their transportation, logistics, and security. We believe, in our own considered opinion as management of NYC, that may help us.
Members of the committee made several interventions, stressing the need for stronger protection measures, improved welfare provisions, and immediate enforcement of existing insurance policy for corps members.
The only way we can solve the problem is to remove to a large extent this manual business in INEC. If you stay in your house, you don't need to go to a polling unit and you are voting. For instance, you don't need plenty coppers there. Maybe you only need one copper. But the situation where you send 3 coppers, like what happened in 2023 election, 4 coppers per polling unit, apart from the rat tech, which are sent per one word. Some of the problems will be sorted out.
Need maybe in showcasing this our mission today that you must look for these laws from INEC, those that affected your coffers during the day of election, not the training time. And number 2, find out how much polling unit do you have in Nigeria.
And I would also want to suggest that the issue of corpers coming in to serve as ad hoc staff is as a result of shortage of staff of INEC to cover all the places. I would also want to suggest in case of off-cycle elections, I think INEC have enough staff that can be able to manage off-cycle election without risking corpers.
Don't say aye. Aye. Those against saying so the ayes have it. So the management of INEC is hereby directed to ensure that the insurance company that handled the 2023 insurance for the election, coverage for the 2023 election should immediately pay the concerned corpers within the next 4 weeks.
The contributions of the members paved the way for a resolution compelling the payment of insurance premiums to families of deceased corps members and to those injured while serving on election assignments.
Moving on, the national president of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, Audu Titus Amba, has condemned the abduction of 25 schoolgirls from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, in Kebbi State. Speaking after an NLC solidarity visit to Governor Nasser Idris, Amba described the attack as a grave assault to humanity and a reminder of worsening insecurity. The incident, which occurred on Monday, November 17th, saw armed attackers invade the school, abduct the students, and take the lives of 2 staff members on duty. After a closed-door meeting with the governor, the NUT president said the attack was highly saddening and a setback for education in the region. Extending condolences to affected families, he urged the federal government to act swiftly to secure the students' release and prosecute those responsible. Amba stressed that the school attacks must attract zero tolerance and called for stronger security around learning institutions and renewed efforts to tackle kidnappings and banditry nationwide. The Marigi-speaking ethnic nationalities across Nigeria held a grand civic reception in honor of Governor Ahmad Umar Fintiri's remarkable achievements in public service. The event, which featured the unveiling of the Marigi people's symbolic cultural attire, drew prominent leaders from across the country and showcased their strength, unity, and rich cultural heritage. Trust TV's Gibson Soadigo reports.
The atmosphere was electrified by cultural renditions, accompanied by the sounds of drums and beats from diverse ethnic nationalities across Adamawa. This is Mahmoud Rubaro Square in Yola, where sons and daughters of the Margi nation from around the world converged for a historic civic reception in honor of Governor Ahmad Umar Fintiri and the unveiling of the Margi cultural attire. Present at the gathering were the Governor of Bauchi State and Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Wala Muhammad, Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, Governor Abu Kefas of Taraba State, and several distinguished personalities. The rich cultural heritage of the Margi nation was on full display, reflecting a people deeply rooted in history, united in purpose, and committed to promoting their cultural identity. Many attendees described the occasion as a moment strengthened by the visionary leadership of Governor Fintiri, whose administration has continued to promote peace and inclusiveness across Adamawa.
He is the hero of unity. He symbolizes ideas that can be crystallized. He brings opinions and, of course, initiatives that can be actualized. They can be made tangible and touchable.
With the history that was read before us, you can see that Nigeria is made up of several nations. And for those that are trying to push us to a one-party state, this is why it will not happen.
With Adamawa enjoying renewed stability, the event also provided Governor Fintri an opportunity to present his administration's scorecard, highlighting achievements in infrastructure, healthcare, education, and security.
My very own people, the sons and daughters of Margilan. Every people carry a history that time cannot erase. The story of the Margi is one of courage, of faith in the unseen, of endurance through hardship. We were born between hills and rivers. We learned to labor in silence, and we grew to cherish peace above all things.
For the Margi people, the ceremony was more than a reception. It was a powerful statement of cultural revival, unity, and pride. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
In business, Nigeria's stock of loans from the World Bank's International Development Association, IDA, has risen to $18.5 billion, cementing its position as the largest IDA borrower in Africa and the third biggest globally. Fresh figures from the IDA's unaudited financial statements for third quarter of 2025 show that Nigeria has retained the global ranking it first reached in 2024, when it overtook India to claim third place. The country had been the fourth largest borrower in 2023, according to the report. Nigeria's exposure increased from $17.1 billion in September 2024 to $18.5 billion in September 2025, an 8.2% rise amounting to $1.4 billion. The growth reflects Nigeria's increasing dependence on concessional financing to bridge infrastructure gaps, support economic reforms, and fund essential social spending amid unstable oil revenues. Nigeria's nearest African peers trail by wide margins. Ethiopia, $14.1 billion, Tanzania, $13.8 billion, Kenya, $13 billion, and Ghana, $7.5 billion. Cote d'Ivoire joined the top 10 list in 2025, pushing Uganda out. Overall, the top 10 borrowers accounted for 60% of IDA's total exposure as of September 2025. Nigeria's continued rise on the IDA data table underscores its persistent development financing gap, especially in infrastructure, energy access, and poverty reduction programs, despite ongoing economic reforms. And away from Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau is holding a high-stakes presidential election with incumbent President Umaru Sissoco Embalo seeking a historic consecutive second term, a first in 30 years. The West African nation, long plagued by coup, political instability, and drug trafficking, faces a closely contested race between Embalo and challenger Fernando Diaz, backed by the influential PAIGC party, which led the country's independence movement. With the main opposition party barred from participating, tensions remain high. Voters are divided. Some support Embalo's pledges to fight corruption and insecurity, while others call for change over concerns about human rights and governance. Analysts say a runoff is likely if no candidate achieves more than 50% of the vote. Still on the foreign scene, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said on Sunday that he will speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, following the unveiling of a controversial U.S. plan to end the Ukraine war. Erdogan emphasized that Turkey would leave no stone unturned in trying to broker an end to the conflict. On November 19th, he hosted Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in Ankara, urging both sides to return to negotiations in Istanbul, where 3 rounds of talks earlier this year produced only limited results. such as large-scale prisoner exchanges. Zelensky had hoped the Ankara meeting would revive U.S. involvement in peace efforts, but Trump's envoy did not attend, leaving the Ukrainian leader with little to show for the talks. Erdogan also plans to discuss reviving a short-lived grain export deal brokered by Turkey and the UN in 2022, which allowed safe passage of Ukrainian grain via the Black Sea. The deal collapsed after Russia withdrew, citing non-implementation of a related agreement, easing sanctions on its own agricultural exports. And in sports, Rivers, Hoopers and Lagos legends began their campaigns with strong victories on day one of NBBF Final Four, setting the stage for an intense battle for the 2025 league title in Port Harcourt. Defending champions Rivers Hoopers overcome a resilient Boko City Chiefs side, edging a 66-61 win in front of their home crowd. Peter Olisemeka led the Kingsmen with a double-double performance of 13 points, 11 rebounds and 2 steals, while Victory Sunday added 10 points to help seal the narrow victory. Despite Paul Dibel's impressive 18 points, 10 rebound efforts and solid contributions from Karim Joseph and Victor Evans, Boko City Chiefs faltered in the final minutes. Lagos Legends followed with a commanding 95-75 win over Nigeria Customs, continuing the form they showed in the Super 8. Patrick Abba led the scoring with 19 points, while Captain Bright, Acuity, and Lucky Subel added 15 and 10 points respectively. Chinga Garba contributed across the board with 10 rebounds and 6 assists in a well-rounded team display for Nigerian Customs. Captain David Godwin scored 18 points with 5 rebounds, and Ogenetega David added 17 points and Wright 8 rebounds. Favor Aboje and Ibe Agu also supported with key scoring, but the team struggled to match Lagos Legends' offensive rhythm. And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Maria Madriz. Thank you for watching.